Hi, and welcome to this DCP Web Top 10 Tips for Improving Your Business Website. Tip number 1, make sure that your business website is mobile compatible. We can easily check whether your website is mobile compatible by opening up your web browser and going to this URL. I'll put a link to this URL in the YouTube description, and all you need to do is type in your domain name here. So let's type in my domain name and we'll fill out the CAPTCHA. I know CAPTCHAs are annoying, but we'll fill it out and we'll click verify. So it's going to analyze the website and then we'll get some results returned back. Okay, so here we can see the return results and it says the page is mobile friendly. This page is easy to use on mobile devices. That's what you want to see. You want to see a big old green sign here and make sure that your website is mobile friendly. If it's not mobile friendly, you want to speak to your web developer or you want to work out a way that you can get your website mobile compatible. That's extremely important. Google search engine will rank your website higher just for the fact that it's mobile friendly. More and more people are using mobile devices to search the internet, and if your website is not mobile compatible, then it's going to be a bad user experience for that visitor to your website. So make sure number 1 on your list is your website is mobile compatible. Tip number 2, get an SSL certificate for your website. So if we open up the web browser and if we go to my website, you can easily check on your website whether you're running an SSL certificate. So just go to your domain and check in the corner here. If you see a green padlock, then you know you're running an SSL certificate. You can also check by the URL. It will have HTTP with an S at the end. The S stands for secure. So SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. What is it all about? When people visit your website and they fill out forms, the data sent from their device to your website or to your server is encrypted. So the SSL certificate will encrypt data. Also, any data transferred from your website to the user's device is also encrypted. So things like pictures and code and text and all this good stuff on your website, all that information is transferred over securely. So that's very, very important. Google, the search engine, will actually rank your website a little bit higher if you're running an SSL certificate. If you're running an e-commerce shop, most definitely you want an SSL certificate. When people run through your checkout, it's a key indicator that their data is going to be protected and is going to be encrypted when they start to put in details about their own business or their personal information. So make sure you're running an SSL certificate. SSL certificates are not very expensive. So speak to your web designer or speak to your website hosting company and ask them to implement an SSL certificate for your business. Tip number 3, create a portfolio or case study section on your website. So if I open up the web browser, we'll go to my website that I'm building at the moment. This is a new site for my business. And here inside the portfolio section, you can see loads of work that I've completed for my clients. The goal here is to showcase your business, right? Show people what you've done in your business. So if you've worked on lots of projects, it doesn't even matter if you've only worked on 5 projects. Start building a portfolio. You don't need to show it straight away, but at least prepare and start building that portfolio so that when you get to maybe 10 projects, you can actually launch that portfolio and showcase all the different jobs that you've done for your clients. So I've done loads of work. I've done banner adverts, I've done newsletter designs, website projects, lots of different types of projects, newsletter designs as well. My business fundamentally focuses on web development, but we do a lot of graphic design projects as well. So my goal is to showcase all the different types of projects, and I just keep adding them and adding them. And there's an advantage to this. Number 1, I'm showcasing my skill set. So I'm showing my clients or visitors to my website that I've done lots of work. I'm not just starting my business. I've been established for a long time and they can see lots and lots of different work in my portfolio. I want to showcase as much as possible, and whether they're small projects or big ones, I still add them into the portfolio. Get used to doing that on a regular basis, and that will generate some credibility. Each one of these blocks is a different project. Now, can you imagine how many you've just seen right now? I can keep clicking this load button and it will keep loading more. But if we go towards the top of this page, each one of these blocks will become its own page. So if you've got a website which only has like 5 or 6 pages, if you create a portfolio and that portfolio contains 200 items, now all of a sudden you've got a 205 page website. And all of these blocks or all of these sections will get searched by the search engine and show up in the search engine results. So if you've got lots of portfolio content, that's a great way to build up your website. So you may only have a handful of services, but your portfolio can be used to grow your website, and you can keep constantly adding in content, just the same way you can create news items or blog posts and so forth, right? So if I were to go ahead and click on e-commerce, here you can see some e-commerce projects that I've worked on recently. And if I click on Stormtrooper costumes that I built for a client, here you can see how I'll lay out the portfolio. I'll write the title here, I'll have a nice picture at the top, I'll tell the visitor what type of website it is, I'll write a good description and put some nice keywords in there, and then I'll showcase the website on these different views, and then I'll show some more pictures, and more importantly, I'll give an incentive for someone to fill out a form to make an inquiry. So this is one example of a portfolio item. I would probably write a bit more content, but this site's currently in development, and we'll go back and look at each one of these individual blocks, and we'll write some nice content for each one separately. So it takes time and energy to create a portfolio. Portfolio normally works well when you're a building company, so you want to show or showcase, you can call it. You don't have to call it portfolio. You can call it showcase projects, or you can even call it, any term that relates to your business. You might call it case studies. So if you're a marketing company, you're not really doing visual work, but you're doing sort of maybe pay-per-click campaigns or social media marketing, then you might want to call it case studies, and you can show something like here is an example of a social media campaign that we've done. So you put the client's logo there, and you write what sort of social media, maybe it was on Facebook, and you did a viral campaign, and you got, I don't know, 500 visitors a day to their website, for example, via social media. Or if you're an architect, then you can maybe create something similar to this. Maybe you can show some examples of floor plans that you've done for some architecture projects. Or if you're a bakery, even a bakery can have a gallery. Maybe you won't call it portfolio, maybe you call it showcase gallery, and you can showcase all the different types of products that you manufacture in your bakery. So there's lots of ideas that you can use. If you need some tips, feel free to write me a little comment in the YouTube commenting or on Facebook, and then maybe I can help you and give you some tips about how you can go ahead and create a portfolio for your business. Okay, so I think that's really important. You should showcase your work and add your work into your portfolio, and don't neglect it. Keep it up to date, keep it fresh. Try and categorize it as well, make people's life easy. If they're looking for logo designs, they click here, then they see only logos. If they're looking for banners or newsletters, they click here, then they get to see loads of different newsletter projects that you've worked on, right? Showcase your work, extremely important. Tip number 4, add social bookmarking tools to your website. So if I open up the web browser, you can see on my website at the bottom here, I've got a social bookmarking tool. So 3,400 people social bookmarked my website on their social media profiles. So for me, that's a significant number. That means 3,400 people pretty much are promoting my business for me. So that's a great tool, right? If you can get people showcasing your website on their social media accounts, whether they're just sharing it because they're interested in your website, or they're sharing a portfolio item or a blog post, then that's a great way for people to be promoting the services, or at least promoting your business via social media. So that's almost like free marketing for your business. But you have to have good content on your website. So if you've got a blog, make sure that you're creating a blog with informative content. If we were to click on this page here, you can see top 6 reasons why your business website needs search engine optimization, and you can see that's been shared 21 times. So that's 21 people that have socially bookmarked this particular page. There's 2 tools that I normally use for social bookmarking. One is called post.st, and the other one is called addthis.com. So these are 2 good sites where you can use social bookmarking for free. Get Started is free, and this tool over here is also for free. So those are 2 free tools. I'm pretty sure if you're running WordPress, you can find some useful WordPress plugins that can also do social bookmarking as well. What you'll find is a lot of businesses will have their website here, and at the top they'll put their Facebook, their Twitter, and their Instagram. And then for me, that doesn't quite make sense. Why would you want to push traffic to your website and then get those people to go off to your social media accounts? It doesn't make sense. Try and keep the visitors on your website and try and get them to use the social bookmarking tools, and try and not divert your customers away to your social media profiles. The idea is to get people from your Facebook, your Twitter accounts, your Instagram, or wherever it might be, and drive that traffic to your website. That's where you're going to do your conversions. You're not going to convert on your social media accounts, you're going to convert on your website. So try and have a nice form for them to fill out, to make an inquiry, make their life easy, and then you should improve your conversions and also get more people sharing your content via social media. When people share your content via social media, that's an important signal for the search engines to rank your website a little bit higher in the search engine. If you've got a blog post and it's getting shared a lot of times, Google, the search engine, Bing, and all the other search engines will recognize that and rank that particular blog post higher in the search engines because it's getting socially shared a lot. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. I'll add both these websites into the YouTube description so that you can check those links and find out more about these social sharing tools. Tip number 5, add rich media content to your website. So if I open up the web browser, here you can see a new website that I'm working on for my own business, and it's in development at the moment, so this site will go live fairly soon. And on the home page, I'm trying to showcase some of my client work using rich media content, using video content. So here, if I scroll down the page, you can see there's one video here, here, and here. So there's 3 or 4 videos. There's actually 4 playing at the moment, all simultaneously. The reason why I'm adding video content to the homepage, I want to add a bit of wow factor. So when customers visit my homepage, and I'm going to rotate these images as well, so they won't always be the same video content or the same pictures. We're going to rotate them maybe once every couple of weeks, so when people visit the website, they're going to see something a bit different, right? And that's all content that's drawn from the portfolio here. If you remember in the previous tip number 3, we spoke about portfolio, and I'm trying to drive some of that content from the portfolio to my homepage. I want to showcase the work that I've done for my clients. That's what people really want to see. What have you done for other people, and does that stuff look good? I think video is a nice way to convey that message. It's quite, there's plenty of businesses out there, I assume, that have video content on their homepage. With 5G is going to be a new service, or is a new service that's been launched in the UK quite recently. The mobile phone companies mobile phone companies and also the mobile phone providers, for your contracts, they've invested heavily into 5G, right? So when people start to renew their phone handsets and renew their contracts, I assume a lot of them are going to get pushed towards 5G, which is not a bad thing. 5G will allow people to download content much faster, plus the devices will be more powerful. So if we can attract customers and showcase work on mobile devices or on tablet devices or desktop computers using video-based content, I think that's a nice way to showcase some of the work that you've done for your clients. It doesn't have to be showcasing work. You can use video in many different ways, right? These could be videos of staff members in your company, or it could be anything that you want. Another tip for you, if you're creating a blog, and I'd advise that you create a blog, inside your blog categories, you've got the category types here, so the different types of things that you do in terms of blog categories can be listed here, and then you've got different types of tutorials. I do loads of tutorials, right? So I categorize all my tutorials, but one thing I do also is blog post type, and inside here I've got videos, articles, and infographics. So if I click on video, for example, now it's going to filter out and show the visitor only video content. And I can hot link to that. So if I've got a YouTube video and I say, if you want to go and check out some more free tutorials, click this link in the YouTube description, and it will take them directly to this page where they can see lots of videos. Let's take a look at one video. If I click on this video or this blog post here, if I click on this blog post, you can see there's a YouTube video here. If I click play, now imagine if I'm a visitor coming to this web page and I click the play button. If that visitor stays on this page and they're here for 6-7 minutes, that's a good signal to the search engine that the content on this page is quite valuable to the customer, because they're staying on the page for long durations of time. People that visit web pages tend not to stay on a page for more than 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds, sometimes a lot longer, but in most cases, including myself, I'll visit a web page, I maybe have a quick look at it. You probably don't really notice this, but you'll stay on the page, and maybe if it's a news item, maybe you sit there and read all of the content. But if you're just looking for information and you want something short and simple, and you just want to get the message or get the knowledge that you need, adding video content is a great way to convey that message to the customer or to your website visitor. So if I take this example, this title here, LibreOffice 6, how to create a pie chart. If I copy this and paste it into the web browser to do a search on Google, you can see that that video lists as #1 position in the video content. If I click videos here, you can see I've got both top 2 positions, and it's returning 55,000 results, something like this, which is not a huge amount, but I've covered that base, right? I've got top 2 here, and in fact you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of these are my videos that I've created on YouTube, right? So I'm trying to cover that sector, share that knowledge. I have a lot of knowledge about LibreOffice 6. So when you know something or you've got a skill that you know about, why not showcase it on YouTube and try and get traffic to that particular video, and then try and divert that traffic back to your website, where you can potentially do a conversion for one of the types of services that you provide. That's the objective, right? It's marketing, isn't it? So share your knowledge, that's very important. Also, if we go to the search results, you'll see that that particular video is ranked at position 2. So it's a good way to drive traffic to your website and provide informative information. On your website, this is to do with LibreOffice. Obviously, that's not a service I provide, but I have knowledge in that field. I know how to use spreadsheets. I know how to create charts and do this stuff. So even if you've got some piece of knowledge that's not directly connected to your business, why not create a blog post about it? If you're an accountant and you know how to, use Microsoft Word documents, although you're an accountant, you know how to use spreadsheets, but you may also know how to use Microsoft Word documents because you need to create documents. So why not make a tutorial about spreadsheets, but also make one that is about how to use Word documents? There's no harm in doing that. And if you can create a blog post about that, you can drive some traffic and you can try and promote some of the other services that you provide as a business. So you want to try and generate traffic to your website. Here you can see other things that are more related to my business, so trending blog posts, things to do with social media, tips to building websites, and all different things that relate to the sort of services that I provide. So I'm trying to create rich media content, video content, and you can embed that video directly into your website from YouTube. So that improves the viewer counts on YouTube, which also improves its ranking in the YouTube search results, which in turn improves the rankings in the Google search results. So drive traffic to your website using rich media content. I think rich media content is a great way, and it's an easy way to get useful content onto your website. You don't have to write so much, although in fairness I would say that this blog post needs a lot more written content. I won't lie to you, it needs more content. If you can get 500, 600, 800 words into this particular video piece of content, then that's a good thing. But it doesn't always necessarily need to be like that. You can see that this particular video ranks pretty high in the search engines, although it only has a small amount of content. It's a very niche piece of content. Is very, very specific, right? It's what we call a long tail keyword phrase, or something that is very, very specific to a targeted type of keyword. But adding rich media content, getting visitors to your website and getting them to watch a video, which is a substantial amount of time they're spending on your website, and if you can get them at the end of the video to go and click somewhere else on your website, so go and click on your services, click on your portfolio, or get them to click on another blog post, that's a good thing to do as well, because that will reduce your bounce rate. If you can reduce your bounce rate, then that's a key signal for the search engines to rank your website a little bit higher. A quick explanation of what bounce rate is. If I go to the search engine, let's just pause this video. If I go to the search engine and I'm looking for how to create a pie chart in LibreOffice, if I click on this video here, it will take me through to the web page where that video has been displayed, right, on my website. This is my current website. If I click play here and I watch this video, if I can get the user to click on Microsoft Excel, click on LibreOffice, click on other search results, or click on other blog posts, that means they're not bouncing. A bounce will be when they go back here and go back to the search engine results. That means that they've gone to look at a website, or they've gone to look at a page, they didn't find what they wanted, and they're going to bounce back to the search engine to go and look for new content that answers their question. So try and reduce the amount of times people bounce off of your website. That's quite a key indicator for search engines to rank your website a little bit higher as well. So add rich media content to your website. That can be videos, that can be all types of content. That could be PDF files, it could be image content, and try and mix that together in blog posts and on your pages, and you should get better search engine results, and you should also rank your website a little bit higher in the search engine as well. Tip number 6, give 10 reasons why someone should choose your business on your website. So if we open up the web browser, here you can see my homepage that I'm working on at the moment. If I scroll down this page, you'll see the work examples, and then you see some logos of companies that I've worked with. But then you've got top 10 reasons to choose DCP web designers. So if you can think of 10 good reasons why a business should choose you, you should list them. If you can't think of 10, get some help and try and come up with at least 10. So the first one listed here is over 15 years of website design knowledge. So if you run a building company and you've been established for the last 20 years, why not tell your customer that you've been established for 20 years? I've been running my business for 15 years. That shows credibility that I have knowledge and experience, right? I haven't started my business last week. It's been running for 15 years. That gives some credibility to your business. 2 hours free website design consultancy. Try and offer your customer something for free. If you offer something for free, 9 times out of 10, people will take that offer, right? So if you can offer some consultancy to share your knowledge, and if you can get a customer to call you on the phone, that's the time where you can really showcase what you can offer to that customer. So if you can get them to call you and give them 2 hours of your time, you may generate and convert that customer into a viable business lead. So you want to try and convert as many customers as possible. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't take 2 hours to sit there and speak to someone on the phone and explain how you can help their business. But if you can offer 2 hours, that's a good thing. Hundreds of completed website design projects. If you're, again, a builder or some type of business and you've completed a lot of work, why not state that you've done that? Try and showcase that you've built lots of projects for other customers, and it happens to be website design is what I do. So I want to state that I've finished hundreds of websites for clients. If I can show that, not only state it, but show it in my portfolio, that's a good key indicator for someone to contact you. You're already established, you've been running for 15 years, you're going to give them free consultancy, and you've already built hundreds of websites already. So you're building up your credibility just in these top 10 reasons to choose DCP. Affordable website design solutions. Tell your customer that you don't charge an arm and a leg for a website. There's website companies out there that charge 15, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pound a website, right? Try and make your projects or your content or the services that you provide affordable. If they're affordable, you're going to attract more businesses. Doesn't mean you need to be cheap, because you've got a lot of knowledge to share, and sometimes your knowledge is worth money as well, right? Your experience is worth something as well. So don't try and be the cheapest website design company, but be an affordable one. Secure and reliable website hosting. I can't believe how many customers contact me and tell me that their website keeps going down or they've got problems with their emails. So secure and reliable business emails as well. So those are two things that I find a lot of my clients when they've come to work with me. Their previous hosting provider or their previous web developer put them on some really cheap crappy hosting, and their emails and their website keeps going down, and that can really affect your business. If you're trying to do business and you can't email your customers, or if you're telling your customer go and check out my website and the website doesn't even load, that's quite negative, isn't it? So you want to get secure and reliable website hosting and email services. So I want to state that on my website, that's one of the key things that I provide. Free access to over 500 video tutorials. So on YouTube, I upload a video almost every day or every other day, and I've built up a portfolio showcasing my knowledge in various fields. It can be from 3D animation to social media to graphic design, and I want to tell my customer that whether they come and use my service or not, they can get free access to over 500 video tutorials. If you can showcase your knowledge and showcase your skill sets in some way, via social media, via YouTube is a really good one, to be fair, then why not state that your customer can now access all of those 500 videos for free, tutorials for free. Free access to over 500,000 stock images. So I've got all these stock libraries where my customers, if they come and purchase a product from me, they can access all of those images for free. So if you can offer a service that doesn't cost you a huge amount of money, but you can give a good tool to your customer, like here's loads of stock images that you can use for free on your project, then that's a good way to entice that customer to come and use you. Powerful social media and SEO solutions. Obviously, as a web designer, I need to understand social media and search engine optimization. So we provide those services. Last and most importantly, one of the most important things is I'm a London-based web designer or web developer. So if you're looking for someone that you can meet face to face, if you're based in London, then tell your clients that you're based in London. Tell them that they can come and visit you. They can come and see you face to face. Some of my clients have worked with businesses or web developers based in completely different countries. So they're having to call them at 8 p.m. at night to speak to them, and because their hours are different, and it's just it's a nightmare, right? You're trying to run a business. The last thing you want to do is speak to your creative team or your developers at 1 o'clock in the morning. You want to speak to them during normal business working hours. If you're based in the UK, you want to pick up the phone 9 a.m. till 5:30, whatever your times are, and be able to speak to your developer. So there's 10 good reasons why a business should choose my company, DCP Web Designers. So try and think of 10 good reasons why someone should choose your business. They're going to be different to mine, but if you need some help and you're not too sure what to write there, if you can't think of 10 things, speak to your staff, speak to your colleagues, speak to your family, speak to some random person on the street, whatever it might be. Try and come up with 10 reasons. If you still can't come up with 10 reasons, write a little comment in the YouTube description or Facebook description and tell me what your business does, and I'll try and help you to think of at least a few using my experience and knowledge as well. So definitely showcase 10 reasons why a customer should be choosing your business on your website. Tip number 7, give an incentive for someone to fill out an inquiry form. So if I open up the web browser, you can see the new website that I'm working on at the moment, and I've got a get a free quote button, right? So I want people to see this get a free quote button. So as you scroll down the page, you're always going to see this get a free quote. When they see the services that I provide, there's a get a free quote. So this good call to action, we call this call to action. We want people to be clicking on these buttons to take them to a form to fill out. So if they're at the top of the website and they click get a free quote, they'll click that and it will take them down to the form. Now when this form displays, you want to try and get an incentive for someone to fill out that form. So get your free website design quote. That's the first incentive. I'm going to give them something for free, right? I'm going to give them a quote for free. Claim your 2 hours free consultancy. So now when they fill out that form, they can expect to get 2 hours of my time as free consultancy. Whether they use my service or not, they're going to get that consultancy, and I'm going to explain to them how I can improve their website or create a new website for their business, right? And just give a few little bullet ticks. 15 years worth of website design knowledge, London-based web designers, affordable pricing. So don't try and put too many here. These are really 3 things that have been taken from the previous example I showed you, like the top 10 things, right? Top 10 reasons to choose your company. Then you can take 3 of those or 4 of them and place them here. Last of all, no obligation quote. So they're not obliged to do anything if they get this quote from me, if they contact me, or if they fill out the form, or if they call me on the phone number. I'm willing to speak to that customer. I'm willing to invest some of my time to speak to that customer to try and convert them into a viable business, right? A viable option for my business to sell them a product. So try and give some sort of incentive on your forms. If you just have a form here and says fill out this form and we'll contact you, or whatever it might be, then that's not as good as giving them an incentive to maybe give them 2 hours free consultancy, or tell them they're going to get something for free, and tell them there's no obligation. They don't have to buy anything from you. They fill out this form, they get all of this stuff here free of charge. That's how you get customers to fill out forms. You may put other things in there. A lot of times when you go to websites, they may say something like on another page it may say fill out this form and we'll send you some sort of PDF document which contains some sort of case study. So it might be top 10 tips for search engine optimization. We call this content marketing, right? So where you give away something but you want something in return. So the thing that you want in return is information. You want to capture information for a potential customer, and in return you're going to give them something for free. So it might be a document, it might be 2 hours free consultancy, it might be lots of different things. Think of some ideas of what you can give away for low cost. 2 hours of my time, hardly ever when someone contacts me in regards to website design do I spend 2 hours speaking to them on the phone. 9 times out of 10 it's a 10-15 minute conversation, so you don't really end up spending 2 hours, but you can give them 2 hours. If they want 2 hours of your time, then give them 2 hours. That's what you're offering, so that's what you need to give. But 9 times out of 10, people don't want to sit there and talk to you on the phone for 2 hours. They want to tell you what they need, and they want to tell you roughly what their budgets are, and then it's down to for you to go away and document that. So that's really where your time is going into. It's into the documentation to say to the customer, look, that's what you've asked me for. Realistically, that's how long it's going to take me, and this is what I'm going to deliver to you, and this is the related cost to it, right? So that's where most of your time will go into, is to the documentation. So that may take you half an hour, but you may only spend 10 or 15 minutes to speak to the person on the phone. But definitely give some sort of incentive for a customer to fill out a form, and you'll get better conversions. You'll get more forms filled out. And that's my tip for tip number 7. Tip number 8, create a blog or news items. So if I open up my website, this is the new site that I'm working on at the moment, and if I click on blog, I need to update this blog. It's got some older sort of blog posts in here. I've done tons of content that I'm going to be pushing into this blog before I relaunch this new version of this website. But here you can see loads and loads of blog posts, right? And blog posts are a good way to share knowledge. So the first thing in your blogs, you should be giving away something that's informative. So try and share some sort of knowledge. It can be video based, it can be some sort of infographic, it can be written content and articles. Work with the type of content that you're used to creating. For me, I like to make lots and lots of videos. The reason why I like to make videos is because I don't have to sit here and write pages and pages of content. Some people love to write content. I'm not so much of a content writer. I'm more of a sort of a person that likes to share knowledge via video content, video-based content, or do imagery-based stuff. I'm not saying written content isn't important. If we scroll to the top here, you can see top 6 reasons why your business website needs search engine optimization. If I click on that, then you can see this particular post has a lot of written content, and it also has an infographic as well. But if I go back and I click on the one next to it, this one shows how to convert pages into convert Mac pages into Microsoft Word documents, and you can see there's a lot less written content, but it has rich media above it. It has a YouTube video that people can click on and watch. So if you think about it, if a customer visits your blog, you've got this page, and this page is got loads of written content about how to convert a Mac page into a Word document. Would it not be easier for that person to just click and watch a video? Maybe that video is 3 or 4 minutes long, and you can share the knowledge that way as well. So rich media content, video content, infographics, images, they're really important for your blog post. If you're going to do written content, and it's just really mainly written content in your blog post, then you need to write lots and lots of content. You need to have like 1,000 words plus of written content. But if you've got video content in there, then you can get away with writing less content. I believe so. If you write more content, there's no harm in doing that. But try and break up your written content into good paragraphs, and try and add images maybe in between those paragraphs to illustrate what you're speaking about. And that's a really good way to rank a blog post quite high in the search engines as well, yeah? So writing content will benefit you, or creating a blog will benefit you in 2 ways. Number 1, you can create as many blog posts as you want. There's nothing stopping you from creating 1 a day, 10 a day. You could create 50 a day if you want. It depends on how much time and energy you want to invest into it, right? But the more blog posts you have, the more substance you're putting out into the search engines, the more content you're showcasing in the search engines. Each one of these blog posts, you can create a schedule using something like Hootsuite, and then you can schedule out all of your blog posts to schedule them out into your social media. So you can post them on your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn account, your Instagram accounts, and so forth, and your Pinterest accounts, and your Reddit account, wherever it might be. You can schedule all of this content. And if you've got lots and lots and lots of content, then you can rotate your schedules around. And you can combine that with stuff that you've done from YouTube, maybe some posts that you put on Facebook, and you can mix up your schedule and get a lot of content out there in social media. That will help to drive subscribers to your social media accounts. So on my Twitter account, I have around 15,000. On my YouTube, I have at least 16,000 subscribers now, and then on Facebook, I'm up to around 2,500. So you can start to build credibility, and the best way for me, I find, to do that is to share knowledge. If you have knowledge in a certain industry, why not share that? You don't have to give away every single thing that you know, but if you can share as much of your knowledge as possible, that's a great way to drive traffic to your website. So a lot of my stuff is to do with multimedia. It's to do with all of the knowledge that I've gained over the last 15 years. And I want to showcase that inside my blog. It takes a lot of effort, don't get me wrong, it's not free. You have to put effort and energy in there, but a lot of this stuff I do towards the end of the day. So I do all of the work, I set out my schedule for my day, these are all the things that I have to do to get done to generate revenue for my business. But then towards the end of the day, I like to maybe create a video or create some written content to feed into my blog post, and I try and post at least, one YouTube video a day, and then maybe write 1 or 2 blog posts or 3 blog posts a week. If you can do that, that's great for you. If you've got other team members that can work with you, maybe they've got other knowledge that you don't have, so you can combine your team together, try and get everyone to do this, not just you. If you've got other team members, try and get everyone involved, and you can get lots and lots of content. Up here, maybe I have 400 or 500 blog posts, and I try and categorize them. Then the other thing you can do, this is kind of optional, you can write news items as well. So if you've got a blog post running, why not create news items? And news items tend to be a lot shorter, they don't have to be so big, and normally my news items are about showcasing work that I've done for my clients. So here you can see like DCP completes Ganson's responsive website design. If I click on that, then I've got a nice picture of the website, I've got a link to their website, and then I write a little short description. So that's another way that you can showcase and create content for your website. Right, so there's 2 examples there. Either create a blog, news items, or do both if you can. If you can do both, that's even better for you. You're getting lots more content out into the search engines. That way you can attract more visitors to your website, and just try and make your content good. If it's loads of crap content, then you're not going to get very many visitors, or you're going to get lots of bounces. So make sure your content in your blog is of the best quality that you can produce. It's better to do 1 good blog post than 10 not so good ones, right? So make it informative and get straight to the point really in your blog post. Try and be very concise about what that blog post is going to be about, and make it very informative. If you can do that, you've got a good chance to drive traffic to your website. Driving traffic to your website is number 1, and then number 2, you want to be converting that to potential sales leads, right? So try and get them to fill out forms, try and get someone to fill out a form and give them incentive to fill out a form. We spoke about that in the previous step or the previous tip. And that's how I go about generating more traffic to my website and also generating potential customer leads. Tip number 9, keyword optimization on your business website. So if I open up the web browser here, this particular website I'm building for my new business, I've keyword optimized it, right? So I'm using the right keywords in the right place. So you can see keywords being used here like web designers and business website design and e-commerce. And how do I work out what is the right keywords and what is the wrong keywords? How do I know which keywords are going to generate traffic to my website? Which keywords do I need to optimize for? So if I scroll to the top here, I'm going to go to this website. I'll put a link to this website in the YouTube description. So this is a website created by Neil Patel. I find it very, very useful. And when you get to this website, it's called neilpatel.com Uber Suggest. You can click on this drop down and select the relevant country. So let's say we select English United Kingdom. In the keyword here, it says enter a domain. So you can put in your domain name or you can enter a keyword. So let's enter in web designers, right? For example, web designers. If I click search here, what this tool will do is go and find relevant keywords for that particular search engine results. It says the search volume 18,100 is high, right? The search volume is high. The SEO difficulty, how difficult is it to rank for this particular keyword? The higher the number, the more difficult it is. So you can say this is like middle sort of difficulty, right? Paid difficulty. So if you want to do pay-per-click, how difficult is it to compete with this particular keyword for pay-per-click? And it's at 57, right? So it's pretty high. If it's lower here, it's going to be less expensive, and the cost per click is £9 or $9. It's actually in dollars. So every time someone clicks on an advert that is showing this particular keyword for your business is going to cost you $9 a click, which is very, very expensive. So what you want to try and do is find keywords that you can rank high for, that are not too difficult to rank high for. So something like web designers is not too difficult. If I were to do a variation of that, so let's type in something like London. Let's type in web design. Let's do London web designers. So now I'm being very much more geographically specific. Web designers is quite generic, so that could be web designers anywhere on this planet. But really I want to target customers that are based in London. So I'm going to do London web designers. I'm going to search for this. And now you can see the search volume is much less. There's only 4,400. If there's 4,400 people searching for that London web designers, and this is over a monthly period, right? The SEO difficulty is dropped right down to 28. It's easy. The paid difficulty is still a bit high. So estimated competition in paid search, the higher the number, the more competitive, right? This is roughly around midpoint. And this is what it will cost every time someone clicks on that advert for that particular keyword. So if I take that keyword and if I go to Google, I'm going to go to google.co.uk, google.co.uk, and if I type in that keyword and I do a search for it, let's search for it. Here you can see my ranking. This is the ranking for my business. And you can see the keyword London web design is written right here, right? You can see DCP London web design is providing professional responsive website design, e-commerce website design solutions. So I've found that keyword. I think it's one that's worth having, and I've tried to rank my website high for that. So I've got some good backlinks going to that particular keyword. But the first thing and the most important thing is to work out whether it's worth ranking high for in the first place. If I scroll down here, you can see some alternatives as well. So there's web designers in London. That returns roughly the same amount of results, the search volume. You can see the search volume here, right? Let's click back here. Let's scroll down. So Ubersuggest will give you some ideas for other keywords that you can rank high for. Sometimes it's worth ranking high for loads of smaller keywords rather than trying to go for something very big. So if I went for something like website design, I know that there's some really big companies out there that are going to try and rank high for that particular keyword. So why not try and rank high for some smaller keywords that will still generate some valuable traffic? These people are still looking for websites, right? But there will be less volume there. But you know, if you're running a smaller business, do you really need 100 website projects a month? If you're running a big company, you've got 50 staff and you've got loads of overheads and you've got a big fancy office in central London, then you're going to need a lot of customers in order to fulfill the amount of revenue you need to generate every month to pay all of those staff and pay for that fancy office and so forth. But if you've got a small business, then why not target some of these smaller keywords? They're easier to rank for, so you can rank higher, quicker in the search engines, and you can target those keywords better on your website, and there's less competition for them. And you know, overall, you should still generate the inquiries that you want and still get the customers that you want. You just won't get as many as the bigger companies, but you don't need as many because you're not running a bigger business. You're running a smaller business, and for me, that's kind of my strategy. So that also frees up time for me to go and do other things as well. I can look at other business opportunities. I don't have to, you know, focus only on website design. I can go and look at things like newsletter design or video production. I can go and team up with other businesses and offer other services where I can grow those keywords because they're more smaller and more niche as well. But try and aim for things around, you know, the midpoint and then some smaller ones. Mix it up a little bit because these smaller ones you'll rank high for quicker. And the bigger keywords, the bigger they are, the more difficult they are to rank for. So something like website design, if I type that in, that's going to have a lot of search results and it's going to cost £11.25 if I want to do paid advertising for it, and it's a higher keyword and it's more difficult to rank high for that one. But then you can see some alternatives. There's like let's see, website designer near me. So that one returns less results. You can see this returning 18,000 volume. It's quite a high lot of volume, but it's very competitive, that keyword. But if you move down to here, 1,600, it's less competitive. Web designers near me. Now you can optimize because it's very easy to rank for that particular keyword. You can push up the rankings a lot quicker. You can still generate a lot of traffic. Maybe out of them 1,600 volume, maybe you only get 10% of that. Maybe only 5%. But 5% of 1,600, 10% will be 160, 5% will be 80. So if you get from that one keyword 80 people every month visiting your website for a web designer near me, and if you only convert, let's say 10% of those 80, that's 8 new projects a month for your business, right? So that could be for architecture, that could be for a building company, that could be for all sorts of businesses. So you can type in anything up here in Uber Suggest, and this is not the only keyword tool that you can use. You can use Google. There's some Google tools as well, like Google pay-per-click tool. So in Google pay-per-click, there's a keyword suggest tool. You can go to Google and type in keyword suggestion tools, and you'll find loads and loads of different ones. This one here, created by Neil Patel, it's very visual, it's very easy to understand. It's not overloaded with lots and lots of different types of things. It can get a bit confusing if you're a new business, or if you're not so up to speed with search engine optimization, then it can be a little bit more tricky to understand what's going on here. But Neil Patel, definitely go and have a look at his blog, look at his YouTube channel. He gives a lot of useful information to business owners. If you follow some of the stuff that he does, you can actually rank your website quite high. So here you can see on this new website I'm building, I've got web designers, web design London, and website designers. Those are the three main keywords, because I know those three main keywords will generate a substantial amount of traffic. Then I want to write content on my website that involves those keywords, that those keywords are used inside my content, like website design, like web developers, right? So I've got keywords on the page that relate to that, like hundreds of website design here, website design projects. So you can see web design here, and you can see website design here. Those are two different keywords. Web developer, that's a different keyword. They're not all the same. And you've got web designers here, right? So just in this one section, I've got 4 different keywords, and it's not written in a spammy way. Don't write your content in a spammy way where you're just repeating keywords over and over just for the sake of it. That doesn't work anymore. So forget about that, right? You want to write good content that people can read. It's informative, and it's written well in a good written English. That's what you want to write it in, in a good way. Write it as if you're writing it for a book or something like that, and then you can then go back and look at that content and get your keywords in there, and don't overdo it. I've got some other tools that I explained in previous tutorials. There's one called SEO Quake. That's a good way to check how many times you're using a keyword on a particular page. So I'll put a link in the YouTube description to SEO Quake tutorial. I just make a little note here. And if you check the YouTube description under point tip number 9, you'll see a link to my tutorial about SEO Quake. And SEO Quake you can use to check how many times are you using that keyword on your page. If you use it too many times, it looks like spammy content. That's not good for search engine optimization. You want to keep your keyword density at a sensible amount, right? Don't overdo it. It just looks spammy otherwise, right? So another thing here, you can see there's not much written content on this page. So what I tend to do is try and get all of my message, all of my information in visual format. People don't want to read pages and pages and pages of content. So what I tend to do is write all my content up here, and then I'll talk about my team members, and then down here I've got a little scrolling box where I can get a lot more of the rich media content, written content into here. So you can see a lot of written content in here, and this is where I'll get a lot of the keywords and the key phrases that I want to optimize for. So that's a nice little tip for you as well. You don't have to have lots of written content visible on the page. You can condense it into a smaller space, right? So here you can see there's a lot of written content, but it's condensed into a smaller space. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not hiding the content. You're just putting it in a place where it doesn't have to be so visually, have a high visual impact where people have to read a lot of content. People tend not to read a lot of this stuff, but if they want to read it, it should be written in a way that is, it's good written English. That's the main thing, right? So go ahead and have a look at Uber Suggest. There's loads of other tools here. I'm going to do a separate tutorial just on Uber Suggest to show you how you can use that tool to optimize content on your website. There's loads of great tools in here. It's a little tricky to understand, but I'll make a separate tutorial showing you how to use that. So keyword optimization on your website, that's very, very important. If you've got the wrong keywords on your website, let's say I'm trying to rank high for, I don't know, some obscure keyword like website design for coffee shops, right? Website design for coffee shops. If I try and do a keyword search for that, I can try and find out how much volume does it. It returns almost no volume. The paid difficulty, you don't even, you could rank high for this keyword very, very easily because its SEO difficulty is very, very small, extremely small, right? So it's not going to rank very high. Well, you're not going to get much traffic through it. I'm not saying it's not worth ranking high for, because website design for coffee shops, for all you know, there's 500, 600, 1,000 coffee shops in London. And all of those coffee shops might want a website or a few of them may want a website. So you could rank high for this keyword very, very quickly in the search engines, and maybe you'll only get 5 visitors a month. But out of those 5 visitors, maybe one of them will convert into a customer. So sometimes keywords that don't return a lot of results don't mean they're not worth ranking high for in the search engines. It just means they're easier to rank high for. They may not produce a lot of search volume. Search volume is how many times those keywords have been searched for on the Google search engine, for example, right? So high search volume tend to be more difficult to rank high for. So sometimes we call these things, these keywords, we call them long tail keywords, where they're very, very specific. They're quite niche or niche keywords. And sometimes those ones are worth ranking high for, because you can rank high very, very quickly. You can build a page on your website or a blog post that is, top 10 tips for website design for coffee shops. If you write a blog post for that, and then you explain, here's some top 10 reasons why you should do these certain things on your coffee shop website, you could rank high for that keyword very, very quickly in the search engines, right? So that's a good tip for you. Don't always try and go for the biggest keywords. Try and mix it up. Try and do a few big keywords, and then try and mix it up with some smaller ones, and then even ones that hardly produce any volume but are very, very niche, very, very specific, because some people will still look for those keywords. Just because this tool says that no one's looking for it or the search volume is very, very low, it doesn't mean people are not going to look for it. Or you may want to use other variations. You may want to use this tool to see if there's another permutation like website design, coffee shop, or maybe we can do something like coffee shop website design and do a search for that. And then maybe you can see, look, let's fill out this capture thing here with statues. I really hate captures, but let's do that. So we did a keyword search before. It was a website design for coffee shops. That returned 0 results. Now we've got another one, which is coffee shop website design, and that's returning some results, right? So if I said to you, which keyword should we be trying to rank higher for? Is it the previous one that returned almost 0 results, or this one that returns some results? It's better to rank higher for something that returns some results, right? At least get something out of it. And then here you can see some other permutations of that keyword that might be worth ranking high for as well. So imagine if you did coffee shop website design, or if you're a builder, you did something like kitchen extension, builder's kitchen extension, or kitchen extension, and the various permutations. Let's try that one actually. Let's do kitchen extension, right? So kitchen extensions returning 6,600 results. Then you could do like kitchen extension design, and maybe that will return less results. Let's see what it comes up with. Sometimes you've got to be a bit patient. But here you can see other permutations, right? Kitchen extension ideas. So if you're a builder, you can write a blog post about kitchen extension ideas, and then people go and see that blog post, and then all of a sudden they're looking at your blog post, but then you've got something on your blog post like a form, interested in getting your kitchen design done. Why not contact our company? We can help you design, not only design the kitchen, but we can also help you, we can actually build that kitchen for you as well. So we can do loads, we can do 2 things, right? Or probably this would be better for some sort of interior design company. So if you're an interior design company, then you could do like kitchen extension ideas and loads of different things. This tool seems to have slowed down on me, so we won't worry about that keyword, to be fair. Looks like this tool is being used by a lot of people, so sometimes it slows down and maybe it's looking for that keyword, it can't find it. But let's not worry about it. To be fair, this is a very, very good tool, and most importantly, it's free to use. So Neil Patel, Uber Suggest, thumbs up to you for creating this tool. I appreciate it, and I think it's a very useful tool, and I want to share this with you guys as well. So check out the keyword tool. Make sure you're optimizing your website for keywords, and I'll do a more in-depth tutorial on this particular tool called Uber Suggest in a later tutorial. Let's minimize this and move on to the next tip. Tip number 10, host your website on a fast server and the closest location to your customers. So what does that actually mean? If I open up the web browser, and if we go to this website, I'm going to put links to these websites in the YouTube description. So one's called Bitcatcher, right? And I'm going to enter my URL in here, and I'm going to click search. And what this software will do, or this website, is going to analyze where my website is being hosted, and it's going to rank it, right? So you can see dcpweb.co.uk, that's my domain, and the performance score is A. It's giving it A. You can't get any better than an A, I don't believe. If I click here, if you need to be warned of the server quality. If you get anything below C, get a quicker server. So if you go to this particular tool, this website, and type in your domain name and then do a search and try and find out how fast is your server. Most importantly, if you're hosting your website, you want to host it on a server that is closest to your target customer audience. So would it make sense that I've got a website based on a server based in America? Right? Why would it make sense that I'm a London-based business, my customers are in London or in the UK, and all of a sudden I'm hosting my website on a web server that is sitting halfway across the planet? It makes zero sense, because every time someone in London is looking for my website or wants to get to my website, that information, or the signal to get the information from that server sitting in America, has to travel a long distance to get to the customer. It doesn't make sense, right? So it makes sense that in London, my website is running at its optimum here, 49 milliseconds, yeah? So I want the connection to the server to be super fast. If you scroll down here, you'll see other websites, hosting companies, and you'll see the speed that they're generating, right? So in Motion, this one here, it's got very, very good server stats or connection stats for most of the countries, right? But if you look at London, it's at 90 milliseconds. If I look at all of these companies here, all of them, these are quite famous or well-known hosting providers that provide good hosting solutions. You can see 90 milliseconds, that's the best that I can get. If I choose one of these companies, the best that I'll get is 90 milliseconds. And for me, even that is quite slow. You can see my one's running at half of that speed. I'm getting 49 milliseconds. So I've got a really, really good dedicated web server. I host all of my clients' websites on that good dedicated web server. It's on a 1 gigabit connection. It's based in the UK, the server itself, and that gives me really, really fast connection. And it's not, if you buy cheap hosting, expect a cheap service, expect your website to load slow. It's not always the case, but be very, very careful when you're choosing your hosting provider, because if you choose a cheap hosting solution and your website runs slow, that's not good for search engine rankings. Google, the search engines like Bing and Google, they want to serve their customers. So if someone goes to a website or goes to Google search and looks for a web designer, so let's try and do that, right? Let's go to google.co.uk. Let's type in London web designers, and this is a keyword that I rank quite high for. So when you look in the search engine results, you'll see me ranking here on the Google Maps, but then you'll also see my website ranking here, right? So I'm at position about 4 or 5, and I'm trying to move it up a few more positions. But if I click on this website and it takes forever to load, that's not good, is it? Because Google's now serving a website in the top 10 listings that is loading very, very slowly. So if I click here, I want the website to load super fast. You can see it's done, right? Within half a second, the website is loaded. Here it is, it's done. So you want a good server that will serve the content to the customer very, very quickly. So when they click on this website, you just click on it and it loads straight away. If they go to portfolio, it loads straight away. If they click on blog, it loads quickly. Contact us, it loads quickly. You don't want things to be loading slowly. You want them to be like super, super fast. And the only way you're going to get that super fast loading speed is to have your website optimized correctly. So you want to compress all your images and make sure your website is optimized correctly first of all. Because if you've got a really badly optimized website, it's going to load slow regardless of the hosting. But if you've got a really good optimized website and you've got a really rubbish server, or really, excuse my language, but crap hosting, then that's not going to help you either. You can have a brilliant website but crap hosting, and it's not going to load fast. Or you can have really, really good hosting and a really badly designed website, and then it's not going to load fast. So you want to make sure that you've got both of those elements working in sync: good hosting and a well optimized website. If you can get both of those working together, then you're going to get a fast loading website. You're going to rank higher in the search engines. Customers are not going to wait a long time for your website to load, so they're going to get more visitors to your website, and they're going to look at your content. If they go to your website and it takes 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, even if it takes more than 3 seconds for your website to load, 3 seconds is too long. It sounds like a small amount of time, but people are very, very impatient. We're used to having things load quickly now, right? People don't want websites to load slowly. They're not interested in slow loading websites. They want websites that load fast. And the way you can get your website to load fast is, number one, to have a good server, and number two, to optimize your website. I'm going to show you one other tool quickly, and we're going to go to this other website, and I'll put links to both these websites so you can go and test your website as well. So in here, I'm going to type in my website address, and you can select the relevant country that's closest to you. For me, it's going to be Europe, United Kingdom, and I can click Start Test. This takes a few seconds to run this test. This is kind of a bit more in-depth test. So you can use this tool called Pingdom, and you can get a bit more information about the hosting environment and also a bit more information about your website, right? So you can see performance grade 76 is giving it a C, my website. So I know I can make improvements on this website. I'm not saying it's that, it's the most fabulous website ever built. I know I can improve it, and that's what I'm doing right now. This website you see right here, this is my current website, right? You can see what it looks like, and then I'm making a new website for my business. And you've probably seen this a few times in this tutorial. This is the new website, and it looks much more impressive, better content, smaller. You can see how far it scrolls here. You can see this scroll bar. You can see how tall it is. That tells you roughly how much of the page you've got to scroll to get to the bottom. So you can see there's not much in terms of scrolling here. You go to my old website, you can see the bar is much smaller. You've got to scroll through lots and lots of content. And for me, this old website served me very, very well. Don't get me wrong. At the time I built it, it done very, very well. You can tell, look, 3.4, 3.5, almost 3,500 shares. So a lot of people shared content from this page. But I don't believe it's the best website for conversion. I think this new website will be better for conversion. It's more visually appealing. There's less clutter. There's less information to read, and people are impatient. They don't want to read lots and lots of content, right? They want to just get to the point and get to the information that they want. That's what websites should be serving. Just get straight to the point. This website, although it done well for me, it's just a bit too much information. There's too much information on here. So this old site is going to go, and it's going to get replaced with this brand new website, which I've polished up. I made the portfolio better. I made everything much more better on this site. When we get to this Pingdom tool, you can see the performance. You can see the page, how much content is on this page is 2 megabytes. I can probably get that reduced a bit as well. You can reduce page size by compressing your images and compressing your content and removing stuff that's not really necessary. Load time 855 milliseconds. So you want to get your load speed under 1 second, right? Try and get it under 1 second. If you can load under 1 second, that's a good thing. You can get it to load fast, that's a good thing. Then you can see a few other errors here. Well, not necessarily errors, these are things that you can improve. These are not errors, these are improvements, right? Make fewer HTTP requests, and I can do that by removing some of the tools that I had on this website. I had quite a lot of third-party tools on this site. I'm going to get rid of a lot of those, so it makes less requests. Reduce DNS lookup. That one's a bit more difficult, DNS lookup, because depending on where your server is, it's going to do a certain amount of lookups to get the DNS. But I'll do a bit of research and see if I can improve that. Avoid URL redirects, avoid empty source and href. We've done all of that. So there's ways to improve it. Then you can look at more granular information here. You can see that images is 51.64% of all the information that gets pulled down from this website. 50% of it is just images. So I can maybe compress those images, reduce their file sizes, maybe remove a few of them. Maybe there's too many on there. I don't need so many. We can improve it. The scripts as well and all this good stuff. So I'm not going to go through this in too much detail, but you can see where all the content is coming from, and it lists it in different types. You've got content by size, you've got request, you got requested by domain, and you got content by content size by domain. So these are all the different tools that I'm using that are requesting content. You can see Google and Facebook, and there's some font stuff here that are quite heavy in terms of weight, in terms of JavaScript files. This is almost like coming close to 0.5 megabyte. So can I improve that in any way? I can go and do some research and see if I can improve that. That will improve the page load speed, or I can do things like defer certain things until certain parts of my content are fully loaded. And then you can see other information here. This is kind of like a waterfall effect, how content gets loaded into your site. So it does a DNS lookup first, and then it looks at certain content in certain sequences, and then you can look at wait times and then when you can finally get to receive data from the server, how long does that take? And this is quite important information as well. It's a little bit techy, I won't lie, but There's a lot of information on this page explaining what each one of these things is and how you can use this tool to improve the speed of your website. This is all about improving the speed of your website. That's the key thing, right? So Pingdom and the other tool, Bitcatcher, you can use them to test your website. This one's really about testing your website, and the other one was really about testing your server speed. Do you have a good server? Is that server running fast? Okay, so let's minimize this. That is my top 10 tips for optimizing or improving your business website. These are just 10 small tips. I'm going to go through and create more video tutorials explaining how you can optimize and improve your website from an SEO perspective. So keep track on my channel, do subscribe, and I'll be providing you with lots more tips. This tutorial is quite long because I wanted to go through quite a few different things, but I'll be creating more shorter tutorials just explaining more sort of bite-sized information about website optimization and social media, and covering quite a lot of wide range of subjects around web development, social media, and search engine optimization. I hope you find this tutorial useful. Try and implement some of the things that I spoke about in this video tutorial today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next DCP web tutorial.